Hello, hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today and for your interest in our bullet journal kits. I thought that bullet journals were the best way to celebrate this year's summer reading theme, which is Imagine Your Story. Bullet journals are all about your story. They're all about you. It's a planner, it's a journal, it's a hybrid thing, and it's all about you. And it helps you be you and be better at all of the things that you need to do, just the way a planner does. I love planners. I love fun color pens and all of the supplies that go with everything that we're doing today. So I thought that this would be a fun thing to share with you. So these were the bags with your kits inside of them. They have your bullet journal, some washi tape, a wonderful fine liner pen. I love these kinds of pens. You'll find yourself wanting to use them for all sorts of things. And some assorted stickers just for fun, and especially if you, like me, are not so good at drawing, but you want to add some color and pizzazz and fun to your journals. Okay, so we're going to go over some of the things that you need for bullet journaling, and then I'm going to show you my bullet journal, and I'm going to show you some of my spreads. Remember that everything about bullet journaling is 100% customizable. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can keep it really simple, like the way Ryder Carroll does in the Bullet Journal Method book and on bulletjournal.com. There's a little more information about this on the sheet that I gave you in your bags. And you can find tons of resources on YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. That's where I found all of my inspiration and ideas. And then I modified them so that they fit my personal needs for my bullet journal. So you can do exactly what I do. You can change it. You can do more, you can do less. You can find what works for you all over the internet, or you can keep it as simple as you want. Or if you're really creative, you can make it as elaborate as you want, okay? That's the fun thing. I love bullet journaling. I'm super hooked on it now. So you need your bullet journal, you need pens and supplies. So I started you off with this great black fine liner. It's not just a pen, it kind of is a marker. It writes really smoothly and the ink is nice and dark and pigmented, and I just love the way that these write, and I love the way that they look on the paper. Markers, a lot of people do like the calligraphy font they learn how to do for bullet journaling because they doodle, they want their titles to look fancy. So these have a brush tip. I'm not so good at it because I'm left-handed, and lefties just can't pull the pen the right way. There are these other brush pens, more brush pens. If you've ever been to coloring at the library or been in the teen room, we have these here at the library. There's highlighters. You're gonna need a pencil, eraser, a ruler. I don't have a steady hand. I'm not very good at drawing straight lines. Some people are perfectly fine with their lines being just their natural hand and following the lines and the grid on the paper. I prefer to use a ruler. This is a throwback for me from when I was in elementary and middle school. The Jelly Roll, the white, which looks really nice on top of dark banners. I'll show you. I have a spread with that in my journal. And then this is another kind of calligraphy tip pen, which is really nice. And all of these supplies I got at either craft stores or online at Amazon. So you can get them so easily, but I gave you just a couple of things to get started. And of course I have my washi tape. And I also have stamps. So again, if you are not so great with your handwriting, I have stamps. So you can use your markers, whether you're using the fancy brush pens or you're using Crayola markers, whatever washable markers, or ink pads, of course, traditionally, and you can stamp in your journal as well. It's almost like a form of art, and because it's a journal / planner, it can be really personal to you, and it can be really fun that way too. Alright, so I am going to show you how to get started with your planner, and I'm going to show you mine as well. Okay, so here is my bullet journal. It's the same one that I'm sharing with all of you. So of course it has this dotted grid. You can also find ones that are actually grid paper, or you can even use a lined notebook. I'm going to show you very quickly how I got started practicing with a lined notebook. I have this really cute one, and it has inserts that you can replace and add on to. But so this is regular lined, and it's small, but I still managed to do some different spreads on here. planner. So you don't need to use a fancy dotted grid journal. You can use a regular line journal, and that way you can really do whatever you want with whatever supplies that you're able to get. So we'll come back to this. These are a couple of different weekly ideas. So we're going to go through the bullet journal, and I'm going to show you the basic aspects of a bullet journal. So the first thing that I did was I put my key right over here because I wanted to have it easy to find. Sometimes even I forget what my key is. And so the original key that Ryder Carroll came up with is pretty simple. So you can see a task is a bullet, notes are a dash, and events are open circles. If the task is incomplete, or any of these are incomplete, it's just its regular shape. You cross it out when it's complete. If you need to migrate it to another collection or to another place, maybe you didn't accomplish it in June or on a particular day or week, you can migrate it somewhere else so you'll know to look for it somewhere else. Or if you put this backwards arrow, you'll know that you've put it in your future log somewhere and to look for future references to it in your future log. And then when it is irrelevant or canceled, you can just cross it out. So I did something kind of similar. I have my tasks, my events, and any appointments. If something is canceled, it's crossed out. If something is done, I'll fill it in. Similar to Ryder Carroll, I have a little arrow that says, I'm going to do this another time, or I didn't have time originally when I thought so. It has an exclamation point, it's going to be important to me. A little dash is just for general notes. Question mark is things that I need to ask. A star are special moments and memories that I wanted to record that happened that day. A balloon for birthdays, and the dreaded $sign for bills. I also have some things that are color-coded, pink for work, green for things that pertain to my cat, such as medication and appointments, and anything that's personal or specifically for my extended family, I have blue. Your bullet journal comes with a table of contents, and this helps you find everything that's in your bullet journal from here on out. Not all bullet journals come with a table of contents, but I'm really glad that this one did. So you need to make sure that you number your pages in the corner. And some of them come with pages numbered, some of them don't. And then you just write what happens, what you've created as it goes. I have an inspirational quote on page 1, 2 to 3 is my future log, 4 is my morning goals, 5 is nighttime goals, and so on and so on. You're not going to try to predict everything, so I fill out my index as I go along. I've already filled out for June, but I never know if I'm going to add another spread or find some more inspiration, so I'm not going to start plotting July until I know for sure that I'm done with everything that I need for June. So I started page 1 because I didn't know what to put on just the single page spread, so I did a really wonderful quote from The Night Circus, which was the first book that I read when I started self-quarantining at home, and it was a wonderful, beautiful book, and I enjoyed it so much. Here is my future log. I did it a little bit like a calendar, and I color-coded everything. As you can see, I have not finished filling out my future log. It's kind of a bit of a task to think that far ahead, but that's one of the nice things about a bullet journal is that it forces you to actually think and plan and hold yourself accountable. So I started doing some of these things. Some future logs are really simple and they look quite like calendars, and they can even just be bullet points with each month and things to remember for each month. But the point of a future log is that you can look farther in advance than just a month or a week. So these are called collections or spreads. So my morning goals and my nighttime goals, I'm still working on them. These are collections. These are things that inspire me, things that I know I need to do, things that help me practice self-care, and things that I want to make sure that I do for myself. So that's why it's part journal and part planner, because you are really taking care of yourself and you're keeping track of things that are personal to you. So this is a single page spread and this is a single page spread versus my future log is a double page spread. So when you're looking for inspiration and you know that you have a single page to fill up, you can Google search or even YouTube search, you know, single page bullet journal spread or bullet journal collection, and you'll find so much inspiration of ideas. The next one is my favorite. I did a double page of books. So this one says books read and this one is books reviewed. And so I decided to do something really visual, so I drew a bookshelf and I have my little black cat at the bottom. I have a daffodil because it's my favorite flower, and a pumpkin because I always have black velvet pumpkins on my bookshelves in real life. And so every time I finish a book, I can color it in, and then I can write the title or as much of the title as I can fit in. And then on the other page, I don't really like reviewing books because I'm always, okay, either I didn't like it or I liked it, and I have a hard time giving things the spectrum of, you know, 1 through 5. So I figured I would only put down books that I really liked because I can see what I read here and I can remember if I liked it or not. But if I really liked something like a 4 or a 5 star, I'm gonna record it here so I remember the ones that I really liked. So I used my white jelly roll pen and I filled it in black, and then I wrote 4 stars for Pumpkinheads and the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. And so again, I made sure to put this in my index on 6 and 7. And this is something that I'm going to do for the whole year. You know, if I fill up this bookshelf before, I'll add it in somewhere else and get started, and then I'll make sure to put it on my index. I'll say books 2, pages, you know, 51 through 52, or whatever it happens to be. Here is my next one. You can keep track of any goals that you have, weight loss goals or anything. And then my favorite one, my friend and I say that something is certified dangerous when it's so delicious you can't stop eating it. It is dangerous. So we write down our favorite meals and our favorite restaurants. So Stone and Rail, we love the wings and the lamb burger there. And so then you can keep track of things like weight loss, things, well, you'll see I have some that are more monthly as well. Here is my monthly spread for June. As you can see, everything is color coded. June is blue. I have things in pink for work. And at the bottom, July is going to be green, so I started working on some green down there. And so this is just a basic calendar with overviews, birthdays, holidays, and big things for work that I needed to know. And you can get as creative as you want. See, I did like a little drop shadow on these boxes over here. I did the numbers in little bubbles. It can be as fancy or as simple as you would like. And I did some fake calligraphy over here with the title June. It's totally fake. I'm not good at real calligraphy. And so these are my weekly spreads. I'm going to show you a few different kinds of weekly spreads that I started keeping track of in here. I'm kind of using these now to collect bullet journal ideas. So while I have my bullet journal and I have my collection, such as my morning goals, my trackers, my books, I'm using these other journals to collect different spreads that I may want to use in the future. This is the spread that works best for me for weeklies, where I write out what the week is. It'll start on a Sunday, and just like a regular planner, I can fill in what I need. I didn't really use this week because I was just setting up my bullet journal then. And then at the top, I left enough room for tasks that I know I really want to accomplish this week, but they don't have to happen on a particular day. So I knew I needed to wash my floors, and I know I need to wash my car, but I didn't get to them that week, so I put a little arrow to tell me it's gonna happen another time. And I did my floors yesterday, so I can go ahead and fill that in now. have lots of things. See, I'm not that good with keeping up with the planner, but it does hold me accountable. I did do this, so I can write that down. And then look, I have an event and I have tasks that need to be done. And so I can fill in this one I've already accomplished today. This one I'm doing right now. And this one I already did. And then just so I remember today, I came in at that time, not that time. And I don't mind crossing things out. I know some people are pretty particular. You can get whiteout, you can use washi tape to cover up your mistakes, but mistakes are part of who I am, and that's totally okay with me. And then I made sure to make my next weekly, and so because we're heading into July next week, or by the time you're watching it, it will be July, I changed my color coding, which is also a really good visual reminder for me about the beginning and end of every month, and I need that visual reminder because sometimes it's so hard to just be like, okay, June's gonna go on forever, but it's not. Here's July. And I already started writing things in. What I like to do is I like to do all of my weeklies at once. So when I did my monthly spread, I then went and I filled out every double weekly spread for June. Because what I don't like, and you may be totally different, some people do 1 week at a time, and then they may find that they want to do a page of movies that they've seen this month, and then it takes another page to get to your next week. And then maybe they want to do 2 pages of doodles, and for me, I like to have everything laid out, and then I'm going to have my monthly special collections afterwards. So here are some collections that you can do. I don't have that many right now, but some people, these are called trackers, where you keep track of what you're doing. So these are the days that I've worked out. And it's just a simple little block grid, and then I color in the days that I worked out. And then I want to keep track of if I am meeting my water goal. So I fill it in partially if I got really close, and I fill it in all the way if I met it completely. This is something that I really like. These are mood trackers. So as you can see, I didn't have my bullet journal for these and I don't remember. But so these are mood trackers, and you can assign a different color. So for June, I decided to do ice pops. For July, I think I'm gonna do watermelons. For August, I'm gonna do sunshine. For September, I'll probably do some leaves of all different fall colors. And so I always make sure that I have a little bundle of the pens that I'm currently using for this month. So I always have, I never put it back in the case because I'm afraid I'm going to pull out the wrong color. So I just keep a little bundle rubber banded together of the colors that I'm using for this month. So that way I can just, at the end of the day, I can reflect and say, here's my marker for this, did I do it or not? And I can fill in my moods. So I'm going to show you also, before we move on, some other weeklies that you can do. Again, I've been using this to collect spreads that I like. So here's a really nice weekly. You have plenty of room on each line. You can put your date, your week spread up here. There's plenty of room in each square, and there's enough room down here for a little recap where you can write down, you know, this was a great week, or I wish I had spent more time outside this week, or whatever it is that you want to do to sum up your week. I love these little recaps, but it didn't happen to fit into the spread that I wanted most. But I am going to do a month in review, so you'll see how that works instead. Then there's this one. I really like this one. It's kind of similar to what I ended up doing, but it's a little more freeform, and I like it a lot. So you have enough space for your Monday, your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday share a line down here. And I like it because, again, I used my color coding. June is blue, and then I did little stars, and I put the number of the day in the little stars. And this is another weekly that I love, But for me, it's just not enough room if I'm using my bullet journal to be more like a planner, and I have a lot to do. So, but I love this. There's a little at-a-glance calendar here, which I've highlighted for this particular week so I can see where this week fits in with the rest of the month. And then I have each day, and I made a big box for notes, recap, or tasks. So that way, if you're the kind of person who has more general things, goals that need to be accomplished, or things that you want to remember about a week, you don't need to assign it to a particular day. And then, of course, we have the one that I went with. But again, see, you can definitely do this on a lined notebook or a journal. You don't need the dot matrix. I just love the dot matrix because it looks more like a blank slate to me, and I feel it's a little less invasive than the lines, but you can still do whatever it is that you want. And see here, I had some things that I was sketching out because I wasn't sure, and I made track of how many dots there are, rows and columns. So I'm going to show you how to do my monthly review, kind of like a month at a glance. And so it's going to take some math, it's going to take some planning and plotting and erasing. So I do everything in pencil first, and I have a really good eraser so that once I am satisfied with everything, I can go over it in pen, and then I can erase it and make it look clean. You can also just keep it in pencil. You don't have to. You don't have to make it fancy. This is your journal. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this going, and I'm gonna show you how to make a new spread. So this is my in review spread right here. So as you can see, I did a lot of stuff in pencil, and then I changed it as I went over it in my fine liner pen. So it has spots for things that I've achieved this month, things that are still in progress, things that I'm looking forward to for the next month, tasks that I need to migrate to July, that's tasks that I may have marked with that little arrow, events and moments to cherish, things I'm proud of, things that challenged me, and some final thoughts about June. This is kind of like the journal portion. I've never been good at keeping a journal or a diary, but this kind of forces me to think about all of the things that have been going on in my life and how I feel about them. As a librarian, it kind of helps me, quote unquote, catalog all of the things that are important and things that have happened, and it helps me process things the same way writing a journal entry would for somebody who's really into long form writing. But that's something I can't keep up with. This I can keep up with. So as my marker dries, I'm gonna go ahead and erase all of my pencil marks, and I will continue to embellish it with my June color, which is blue. So that's it. That's my bullet journal. There are other ways that you can do it. As I've said, the Ryder Carroll version is much simpler. Ryder Carroll doesn't use weekly spreads like I have here. Ryder Carroll uses daily spreads. So instead of keeping track of things by week, you kind of keep track of things by day. And so where I was able to plot out all of my weeks in advance, you can't do that with the daily spread because you just write about your day as it goes. So, I would say whatever day today is. What is today? That's a good question. 26th. So I would say 20, and I had a task to film BuJo video. I also have to hang some posters, and then also Also, maybe something I want to remember is going to the drive-in. And I know that this is something that I want to remember, like having a little date night and something that makes me happy. And then I know I need to ask about the Sunday schedule. And so I'm not going to continue on to the 27th until I know that I'm done with this. And so let's say it's now tomorrow morning. Now I can say 6:20, 7:20, and I know that I need to clean the car. This is my sloppy, really fast demonstration handwriting. So clean the car, and then maybe it's gonna have to migrate to 28th. And so this you can't plan ahead, but this is really quick and it's just another way. It's the way that Ryder Carroll does. I prefer to do a weekly spread instead of a daily because I am a planner, so this works better for me. But everything may work differently for you. Everyone is different and everyone's individual. You can do whatever you want with your bullet journal. There are so many different ways to do it. It's all individual, it's all unique, it's all fun. You can add your washi tape to keep track of things. Do I have a blue one here? So maybe to embellish, I'm going to take a little washi tape. Like I said, I don't draw, so the stickers that I've included in your kit and the washi tape just help to add a little bit of fun in places where I can't do because I can't draw. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions about your bullet journal. I hope you have fun with them, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. You can see behind me all of these bags that are about to go out and go to all of you. And remember, just look for inspiration wherever you can find it. There's tons on Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, bulletjournal.com, and you can take a look at mine and ask me any questions. And I hope that you all have so much fun with your bullet journals. They're really special and they're really fun and personal. So remember, you can imagine and live out your own story, just like we're doing with our summer reading theme. I love it. All right, everyone, enjoy, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye.